Wednesday, December the 16th here at Bankwest Stadium, or live on Main Event for the Sydney Super Fight. And, well, he was just mentioned there by George Rose, Mark Hunt, a combat sports superstar. He's the first of the boxers that we will talk to here today. Mark, welcome to Bankwest Stadium. It must be exciting for you. You haven't been in a professional boxing ring since way back in the year 2000, but you're back in a big one here.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think nearly 20 years since I've had a boxing match, and I haven't even got a win in boxing. But I think 20 years, 2 decades in combat sports globally. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. I haven't worked in 3 years, I'd say. I was just retired and happily suing the UFC.
Tell us about how things are with the UFC. It ended pretty disappointingly for you. How do you look back on how things broke up?
Well, I mean, they didn't go so well. I mean, I don't feel I got a fair go with that company. I mean, making it to the top in any sport, you should be getting a fair go. But I feel I got cheated by these guys, totally. And it just goes to show with these 2 lawsuits that I've got going, they cheated me out of my end of my career. And like I said, I didn't just talk my talk. I'm walking the walk in the courthouse. So, I mean, we're still going on with the battle. And, like I said, I feel sorry for these UFC fighters. They're getting paid chump change is what I call it. Compared to what the real boxers get, the Anthony Joshua's, the Joseph Parker's, the real money's where has been broken. The real bread's been broken by top end fighters, which is 50%, where some of our UFC fighters are getting jack shit. Pardon my French, but it's the truth.
Does it make you wish that you'd pursued a boxing path rather than going into the UFC?
Well, I don't know. I love mixed martial arts. I'm a fighter at heart, and not just in the octagon, in the ring. Everywhere, to be honest, and it's just disappointing that these guys, these grubby companies, take money over people's lives. That's the way I see it.
Before we move on to this fight with Paul Gallen, do you have a message for the UFC? I'm sure people will be tuning in.
They know they're in trouble. They know they're in trouble. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
Okay, well, looking forward to this heavyweight fight on the 16th of December here at Bankwest Stadium. Mark Hunt, the conventional wisdom might be that Paul Gallen's going to be the fitter fighter, but you're the more experienced combat sports person. Do you think that would be the case?
I'd say so, but with one punch, your fitness goes half tank. To be honest, they called me out 5 years ago for this fight while I was with the UFC. I mean, I like Paul. He's a nice guy. We had lunch a couple of times. You still owe me lunch. Gonna have to take it out on you on December the 16th, man.
Has to be a bit more to it than that, though. You've stepped into what is going to be a major event here. Do you think we're going to get any fireworks in the lead up to this fight between you and Paul Gallen, with people saying what they're going to say about the pair of you?
Well, you can say what he wants. All I know is that I do my work inside. I do my talking in the boxing ring when it comes down to it.
You've had a look around the stadium here, Mark.
It's a nice setup.
A special arena. It would be nice to produce one of your walk-off knockouts in this venue.
Well, I mean, I don't take any fighter lightly, especially Paul. He's a hard man, and we'll see how it goes with this boxing match. Hopefully, it'll be my first boxing win.
How exciting is this event with Tim Tszyu headlining? You would have seen him in action previously, and your own fight as well, and all the big undercard being put together by No Limit. Yeah,
it's great. I mean, I saw Tim. First time I met Tim was in Thailand in Tiger Road, and I thought it was actually his dad. I was like, oh, it was a bit taller though, but he had a great performance in his last match. It was a great fight, and he turned up pretty well. So it won't be the same here too. So,
and tell us about your preparation between now and December 16.
Dude, I've been at this camp for since the start of the year. This fight was supposed to happen at the start of the year in May, but I'm gladly happy that we're finally getting this done. So all this talk can be pushed to the side, and we can punch on, and we can talk about it afterwards. We'll have a beer afterwards. We'll see how it goes.
Were there times during the process you thought that maybe Paul Gallen didn't want this fight? There were a lot of discussions around the contracts being signed.
Well, look, I mean, I feel Porter's he's a hard man. He's a footy player. He's a strong guy. I don't think his fighting spirits is diminished as he has gone older. But just like myself, I'm 46, and I feel stronger than ever. It's crazy how it works, but and it's been nearly 3 decades in combat sports. Over 20 at the top end. Paul will probably be the same, especially with footy. But for 20 years, I've been punching people in the face. Some of the top guys in the world. I haven't been tackling people. I've been punching people in the face. And most of those cheaters, I've been getting it over. I mean, my record is kind of weird because a lot of the guys that I've lost against are freaking cheaters anyway, so, you know. But we'll see what happens with this.
Your prediction, come December 16, what happens at this venue between yourself, Mark Hunt, and Paul Gallen?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'd probably say I'll put him away within the 6. But, you know, he's quite fit, but we'll see how it goes.
Thank you very much. That is Mark Hunt, the UFC superstar. Mark, you can keep your microphone if there's anything you want to respond to.
Can you just change that to not UFC superstar, just Mark Hunt, because UFC sucks.
Just call you superstar. Thank you, Mark
Hey,
Hunt.
why not?
NRL superstar, I think he's happy with that. Paul Gallen, an undefeated heavyweight boxer. Paul, you've heard from your opponent. There were some conversations around the place that maybe he hasn't been training that hard, but apparently he's been in camp all year. How do you feel about that?
Oh, look, I know he's been in camp all year. I mean, this fight was supposed to happen very early, April or May, early on, and obviously with COVID it wasn't. Then it was supposed to be on in September, November sort of time, and it's obviously been put back to December now, so yeah, he's been training all year. As have I, so we've, it's finally coming around. We finally get to do it, December 16, and yeah, it's going to be good. We get out here, we get to do it. There's not a lot of point, talking crap about each other or trying to pump up the crowd or you guys, because I think we've got great respect for each other, and we're both going to train our backsides off and get in there on December 16, and may the best man win.
Were you concerned the fight may not happen at points through the build-up?
Look, with COVID, no one knew what was going on. It was changing week to week, so no one really knew what was happening. But I was always prepared to have the fight, and I was always going to sign the contract. There was talk early on about me not wanting the fight or not wanting to sign the contract. There was no truth in that at all. It was a matter of me getting the contract, to be honest, and having things sorted out. So there was no issue there at all, and it's all done and dusted now, and we can sort it out on December 16.
Have you gone back and had a look at any of Mark Hunt's highlights since you signed the contract
yeah,
for this fight?
I was a Mark Hunt fan, of course. Even throughout his UFC career, I was supported. I travelled to Melbourne to watch him fight a couple of times, so he knows. He actually got me tickets to the fight. So,
so why did you call me out to scrap? I mean, I don't get it.
Oh, mate, I haven't called you out to scrap. I know you've thought that or you said that, but it was offered to me. It's a fight that I'm prepared to have. As I said, there's no point talking crap or smack about each other. We respect each other, but it's a fight I think I can win. I think Mark's a legend of the sport, but I think he's had his time, and I think that I can win. I think my fitness will get me there. I don't think I can hurt him, to be honest. I've watched plenty of videos of him getting kicked square in the head by blokes and knocked down, and he gets back up. So I don't think there's a chance I'm really going to hurt him, but I think I can win the fight.
Why does it excite you so much, this fight? Is it because of Mark Hunt's standing in combat sports?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I described it when I first got offered the fight early on, or when I accepted the fight. It would be like a young half or 5'8" not wanting to play against a Brad Fittler or an Andrew Johns. It's it's something that you want to do. You want to test yourself. You want to jump in there with a legend, and that's what he is. I'm not trying to take anything away from him there, but I'm going to train hard enough that I can be fit enough and strong enough, and I can win this fight. And when I do that, as I said, I'm not trying to take nothing away from what he's done. He's a legend of the sport, mixed martial arts, but as I said, I can win this fight.
You've achieved a great deal in the NRL, obviously, and as a boxer as well, being undefeated as you are and having a really big fight with Barry Hall in a major event in Melbourne, amongst others. But here at Bankwest Stadium, in front of what will be a massive crowd in 2020 of all years and live on Main Event, must be especially exciting.
Yeah, well, we actually never got to play as a player. I retired at the end of 19, and it's sort of only come... I don't think the Sharks played there that year, and obviously I've been retired this year, so never got the chance to play as a player. So to be out there in a boxing match and be able to compete on the surface out there, in an area where I grew up not far away, it's going to be a great event, and I'm looking forward to it.
And I know you would have been watching Tim Tszyu's fight against Jeff Horn very closely. An exciting journey that he's on, and you must be thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think I take my hat off to Tim. I remember... I think it was me and Junior Paulo or me and Hopewade, one of those fights where I was the main act, and sort of at the time where people question rugby league players jumping in the ring and having a fight, and I remember Tim saying, look, if I can jump on the back of these guys and promote myself, that's all better for me. And I remember saying at the time, if I can one day sit back and watch Tim Tszyu headline a main event, then I've done my job for boxing. And he's headlined plenty, and that performance he put on against Jeff Horn up there, representing New South Wales, I was very happy with that. It was absolutely outstanding, and it's good to see him headlining an act where I'm under him now.
Gal, how's your body? There was some conversation that maybe there was an injury or you weren't going to be a part of this fight. How are you feeling now?
No, I'm going okay. Had an injury a few weeks ago. Thankfully, I was sparring. So as I said, I have been sparring a lot throughout the year, and tore a bicep. But it's coming good now. So another couple of weeks, I should be fit and fire and ready to go. And as long as I can get sort of 4 or 5 weeks sparring under my belt at the back end, I'll be fine.
Is it a fight where you feel you just have to weather the storm and get through into later rounds and he's going to run out of gas?
No, I don't think there's going to be any storm to weather. I mean, I'm sure there will be, but the thing with punching power is that's the last thing to go. Your fitness may go, but a bloke like him can punch. We all know that. And I've got to be on my game right until that last second, right till that bell rings in the 6th round, because at any stage, if he catches me with something clean, it's going to hurt. Look, I'm going to get hit at some stage. I know that's boxing. We're in there. We're going to get punched. How hard he gets me and how clean he gets me remains to be seen. And hopefully he doesn't. But I'm going to have to be on guard right till the bell rings.
You've achieved a great deal in your professional sporting career, obviously, winning an NRL title, State of Origins, playing for your country, and the boxing you've done as well. But where would it rank if you could beat a combat sports legend in a stadium fight?
Yeah, individually it'd be right up there. Obviously, those events are team events, and this is an individual event. So I'm training hard in other ways at the moment, and come the night, I'll be 100% ready to go. And to just as I said, to jump in the ring with someone like Mark Hunt's going to be exciting. But to beat him and to have my hand held up at the end of it, it's going to rank pretty highly and something I can be proud of.
And your prediction, how do things end on December the 16th in the co-main between Mark Hunt and Paul Gallen?
Yeah, look, I'm confident I can win. As I said, I'm really confident I can get the job done. As I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to hurt him. Look at him, but I'll win on points.
Victory on points for Paul Gallen is the prediction. Those are our heavyweights in the co-main. We'll move on to what will be the main event of the evening here at Bankwest Stadium, and live on main event on December the 16th. It'll be Tim Tszyu, the undefeated super welterweight, world ranked as he is, against Bowen Morgan, the world ranked star from New Zealand. We're going to cross to New Zealand now and hear from Bowen Morgan. He is at the moment 21-1. He hails from Christchurch, and here he is, Bowen Morgan.
I'm Bowen Morgan, boxer out of Christchurch. I'm a world-rated welterweight boxer, and I'm taking on Tim Tszyu because he's the next best thing in my way. They can underestimate me all they like, but I know come fight night, I will be ready. I've got more experience than Tim has, haven't lost in 4 years, and my last 3 have been by knockout. I believe Tim and his team are underestimating me. Yeah, it means everything to not only represent my country, but my family at home. My message to Tim is short, simple. Train hard, I'll see you in the ring.
That is Bowen Morgan, and his opponent on the night will be Tim Tszyu, who joins us here at Bankwest today. Tim, we haven't seen you in action since the defining night of your professional boxing career so far, the destruction of the great Jeff Horn. How do you look back on what occurred in Townsville?
It was not a bad effort. Could be better. Could have stopped it earlier. A lot to work on, a lot to improve on. But I'm blessed to be in this position where I got a fight, and I'm able to test myself again through training camp, through all the adversities, and just push to a limit where I've never been.
Is that really how you look back on that fight, that there were things to improve? A lot of people thought it was the best you'd performed so far was a clinical boxing performance, but when you've watched it back, what have you found?
I think I did all right. Again, it wasn't a perfect performance for myself. I'm very critical of myself. Again, there's a lot to improve on, and this is another fight I got now where I intend to test myself and to improve to be in a better position than I was the fight before.
Your second time now headlining a stadium event. It's becoming the norm for you, but it still must be extremely exciting.
Oh, of course. But you know, this all happens because of hard work. I train super hard, and I'm super focused and dedicated at what I do. To be the only fighter in the world to headline 2 stadium fights for this year is a blessing. And it just shows what stage I am in my career and the potential that I've got to keep going.
We've just heard from your opponent, Bowen Morgan. There were a number of Australians offered the fight. Do you have any comment to make about any of those who turned it down?
Honestly, I couldn't care less. It's my manager, my promoter. They discuss my opponents. I just get told who I'm fighting, and that's all I say. You know, tell me a date, tell me an opponent, and I'll be ready. That's how I tell my manager and promoter. But then again, I've told them that I want the international fights. I want the world titles, because the Tszyu, the Charlos, they're the guys that I'm aiming for. And Bowen Morgan, I'm not underestimating him. You know, he's the best in the country. I've proved that I'm the best in the country. It's going to be a great clash of Australia versus New Zealand.
He's 21-1. He's undefeated in the last 4 years. He's knocked out his last 3 opponents. What are you expecting from Bowen Morgan? If you're not underestimating him, do you think other people may be?
I don't know. What are people saying about him? Because at the end of the day, he's a top 15 fighter who's the best in New Zealand. So what can be said bad about him? Again, he's 21-1. It's a great record. He's a come-forward fighter, which I love. Doesn't mean I have to chase anyone around the ring. Again, it's going to be a great fight. I'm going to put the work in and showcase Australia and the world the level I'm at.
When you've watched videos of Bowen Morgan, what do you see there, and how do you expect this fight to go?
It's going to be action. I don't have to chase him. A lot of the times, a lot of fighters are running, usually the other direction. So it would be good to not run around the ring and chase my opponent, but let the opponent come to me. So I'm looking forward to it. He's going to bring out a style in me that I have to show something different. And if you've watched my previous fights, I bring something new to the table each time. I work on different things, and I'm super excited for this fight.
And should you get through this fight, is a world title next for you?
Again, I said Tszyu, Charlo, they're the boys I want. I came to this sport to become the best. You know, and I ticked my first thing was to become the best in Australia, and I believe I have done that, and I've proved for my last 4 fights that I've taken out all the Aussies. So for me, it was to get a New Zealand fighter. It's great because it's an international fight. It's someone that's not local, and it just puts me forward towards, again, the Tszyu, the Charlos, and they're the boys I want.
You mentioned that there'll be no running in your fight. He's going to be right in front of you, willing to trade. Well, in the co-main, and you'll be a little bit busy warming up for your fight, but it's going to be excitement plus, isn't it? Mark Hunt and Paul Gallen. What do you expect to happen here?
Oh, it's always exciting when you've got 2 heavyweights punching on, especially an MMA fighter with a great rugby player who both have big power. It's going to be an interesting fight. Whoever's going to be the quickest and lands the first shot, I think that's the winner.
I know you don't like predicting your own fights, but who do you think wins?
Again, who's the most conditioned, who's the quickest, who lands that first punch. I don't think it's going to be a long fight. I think it's going to be a short one, under 3 rounds. That's my prediction.
Okay, well, don't blink, because that one is coming up before we see this man, Tim Tszyu, in action against Bowen Morgan. Thanks, everyone, for coming along today. What we're going to do now is face off our 2 heavyweight fighters. They're going to face off in front of the boards up here, just behind the desk. As we repeat the details, on the Sydney Super Fight here at Bankwest Stadium, it is a Wednesday night, December the 16th. Tickets available from Ticket Tech from Monday. They start at just $29, or you can order it right now, www.mainevent.com.au. A stacked undercard still to be announced, but we do know that Mark Hunt and Paul Gallen will be doing battle before we see the undefeated emerging superstar of Australian boxing, Tim Tszyu, against world-ranked Kiwi Bowen Morgan. We'll get the fighters to face each other now for the cameras. There they are, Paul Gallen and Mark Hunt. We'll see them do battle here at Bankwest.